Hello, Capricorn and Aquarius Risings. I am making this video because I'm hoping that a lot of us who are Capricorn and Aquarius Risings are recognizing the importance of everything that we are going through, as far as like if you've got Capricorn or Aquarius in your first house. You know that basically for like the last 2 years into right now have been very I don't know a good word for it. Very, I want to say humbling, but very eye-opening, very revealing. And your first house is who you are. It is who you are meant to be, aspire to be, are going to become, embody. And if you've got like a lot of Capricorn in your first house or a lot of Aquarius in your first house, then you know that it's been a really long journey. And I have Capricorn at 19 degrees, so it entered into my first house last year, but I have all 30 degrees of Aquarius in my first house as well, so I actually have Saturn hanging out in my first house until 2024. And I have Saturn naturally, natally in my first house anyway, so I'm not like, a stranger to it by any means, but it's definitely been tiring. It's definitely been draining. It's definitely been humbling. It's been reality breaking. I've had a lot of changes in perspective, a lot of shifts in my reality, a lot of like realizing how not in reality I was. Some of that probably has to do with some Neptunian stuff because I have Neptune in the first house naturally as well, but I think something really important is going to be happening with everyone who is, it's going to be important for anyone who has Saturn in your first house. I feel that if you've got Saturn transiting your first house this lifetime around, then a lot of important changes are being made for not even just the higher good of yourself, but for us as like a collective of just people here on Earth. I'm feeling that the role that we will play is going to be important. And that's why it's been so hard, because there are a lot of things that need to be broken down. As you know, Pluto has been here too. If you have Capricorn, a lot of things have been broken down in order for us to build ourselves back up into a better version of ourselves. And it is very humbling to realize that there are so many parts of you that need to be broken down that you didn't even realize were you. Like you needed to really be snapped out of it in a really hard, like completely draining, just sometimes even depressing way. And I think that's what's basically occurred for me since this time last year until this year. And not to get too much into my personal transit, but basically ever since I started this YouTube channel, I've been going through my Saturn in my first house transit. So it's kind of funny to see that a lot of the channel has been kind of me going through that. But even outside of that, because Capricorn is that structure, it's that foundation, it is that builder, it is the oldest, wisest earth sign. I feel that Saturn being here for us in the first house and really breaking us down in Capricorn energy is so that we can rebuild it in a higher vibrational way of Capricorn, since we are dismantling low vibrational Capricorn patriarchal energy right now. And Pluto is here helping us to do that, and that's why I feel that this is for a larger reason, because it's so generational. It's all those outer planets really coming in and preparing us to not, it is affecting us on a personal level, but because these are far-reaching outer planets, they are going to be changes within us that impact for longer spans of time, for more generational types of changes. So I just get this really interesting feeling that a lot of my Capricorn Aquarius risings who are watching this, that you're gonna, if you're feeling how I'm feeling at least, sense a lot of ravens going around. Ever since this time last year, even far before that, I have been thinking, oh, I've found myself now. Oh, okay, this is who I am now. And then having another eye-opening revelation, oh, that's still not me. Wait, what? Oh, that's still not me. Wait, what? Just over and over and over again. And really having to learn to be okay with that and to kind of go with the process and grow with the process. There have been times where I've just been like, wanting to just give up and be like, I don't even care what happens at this point, because I've just been so drained, I've been so tired, I've been so confused, really just trying to figure out like what I'm being broken down for, because I mean Saturn is doing a lot to you physically, mentally, emotionally, but Saturn is not doing it just for nothing. Saturn is doing these things for a purpose. So if I'm looking into these things at a higher purpose for Capricorns and Aquariuses or anyone who has Saturn in the first house, I imagine it's because there's been some kind of long-standing effect that's been happening through our walks of life where we've become so much of what we weren't meant to be that there's no choice, but in order for us to continue towards the path, since we all do have a path and a purpose here, is Saturn's like, okay, we're gonna have to get rid of this stuff, and the only way to do it is to do it like this, because otherwise you will not see. So I feel like a lot of things have been coming up that are hard to look at, that we don't want to look at, that really make us like have to break down all over again, and it's draining and it's tiring and wondering when it's going to be done. But if you look at what's happening in your first house, it does coincide with what just came out of the 12th house, because it goes from your 12th, Saturn goes from your 12th to your first. So basically around the time that Saturn was, in your 12th house, wherever those degrees are, moving into your first, is about what was happening in your 12th house, what was drastically changing, what doors were you finally closing, what things were you finally sealing up or like having to come to terms with, so that you can then in your first house recreate, you can then reform, you can kind of look down at everything and say, okay, I'm going to sit here and let things fall apart. I'm going to sit here and realize what is me, what is not me. Am I sure that's me? Am I just claiming it? Am I really sitting in my energy? What is my energy? And really learning how to like spend a lot of time with yourself, which I mean, I personally do spend a lot of time alone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reflecting on me alone. I could be reflecting and pondering about all these things in life and not really pondering or reflecting on myself. And so Aquarius risings too, especially since we have just entered from Saturn out of Capricorn into Saturn in Aquarius, is going to be creating an even more rapid kind of change, I feel, especially for Aquarian energy in Saturn energy. And the only reason I feel this is because we are entering into a new time period. We are entering into shifts and changes here on Earth and in our society and as a collective and just in general for this planet, that I personally feel and think that Saturn is here for Capricorns and Aquarius because we will be playing an important role. We will be called forward to be doing things that we probably wouldn't have been ready to do if Saturn hadn't come and fucked up everything in our lives and really taken friends out and taken jobs out that weren't working. You've most likely experienced such drastic changes in what you thought you wanted to do as a career, what you thought that your life plan was going to be, who you thought your friends were, what you thought was healthy for your life, and all that has shifted and changed. And now you're sitting here in your first house and you're like, well, damn, you're basically reborn. You're basically starting all over, but with a higher purpose, with a higher understanding, because you didn't go through all those things, hopefully, and not take anything away from it, but you learned from it. It was to show you things, to recognize things, so that when you have your reset moment, the Saturn in the first house, as you're being reformed into who you were always, but lost maybe along the way, is because there are going to be things that we're called to do, have opportunities to do, that require us to be a stronger version of ourselves. So if you have Saturn here, I know it's hard. I have it here for 3 more years, and I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself. All I can do is I recommend keep being gentle with yourself, keep allowing, find that grace, find that flow within yourself to really just sit and laugh at it. Be okay if you were this way 2 weeks ago and now you're completely different again. Be okay with things falling apart again over and over as Pluto is still kind of hanging out. And Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for a minute, so recognize that these things are being broken down for a reason. And the only reason I kind of want to talk about this is because I cannot believe, after I looked at my placements, that I was going to have Saturn hanging out here for so long. But Jupiter is here as well, and that's the thing I really want to lean into. Give me a second, I check my time. That's the thing I really want to lean into, because as much as Saturn is that master maker, Saturn is like the father of the zodiac, I consider him like the person, like kind of Kronos in a way, where he's like, okay, yes, you're doing these things, but where's the reality in it? Yes, you believe these things, but is it practical? Yes, these things are things you aspire to. How are you going to make that real? To be realistic, and know that it's okay to be realistic and still believe in the fantastic. Whereas Jupiter being here, because Jupiter is now in Aquarius, rather, still in the first house for a lot of you who have Capricorn Aquarius in the first house. Jupiter is Zeus to me. Jupiter is Thor to me. He is a great benefactor. He's the largest, most expansive planet that we have, and I feel that this is specifically a blessing for those of us who have Saturn in the first house right now, because if we didn't have Jupiter there, I guarantee you, or at least if I didn't, that I would have a lot less hope, a lot less enthusiasm to keep going, to keep pressing forward, to really feel like all these changes that I've been making, all the things I've been giving up, all the people that I've pushed away, all the things that I've had to realize has been for a reason. If I didn't truly believe that, if I didn't believe that it was still for something bigger than me, if I didn't still believe that it was going to, like, the things that I'm going through were going to bring more positive, more beautiful things into my life and the lives of those around me, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I didn't have Jupiter there, that'd be a lot harder to believe. If I didn't have Jupiter in my first house, it'd be a lot harder to see it. So I feel that Jupiter is really looking out for all of us who have Saturn hanging out here right now, because he is showing us that yes, I know you're going through all this shit right now. I know all these things are changing. I know that you feel crazy. I know that you feel hypocritical to be changing who you are again. I know it feels, just very raw and vulnerable. But Jupiter is here to say, hey, don't forget, this is going to be for a reason. Don't forget, this is going to bring you prosperity. Don't forget, this is going to bring you something you've never imagined could be possible because you went through all this shit. It's half of it is faith and half of it is our own will. So I'm imagining that Jupiter being here is that gift from our planets, is the gift from the gods, is the gift from our spirit guides, because they knew probably that it'd be a lot harder to really believe it if we didn't have it. So really, don't forget that Jupiter is here as well. I know Saturn in the first can be like overwhelming and make everything else seem like it doesn't exist, but Jupiter is here too, and I've really been trying to stay conscious of that, and I feel that it is easy to see when you recognize, if you sit here right now and think about all the shit that you're going through, and if you imagined someone, like, if you were able to sit there and think about seeing yourself go through this and imagine how strong you are, imagine how resilient you are, imagine how positive you've still been, imagine how you're still pressing forward, like, see how much you really have done and how you're still going, and really recognize how powerful that is. That's a Capricorn's resilience, that's an Aquarius's rebelliousness, that's the drive, and that is exactly what we need to continue to keep as one of our core essences, in order to then, as we begin to grow and redevelop ourselves as we are doing now, for the things and tasks that we're going to be given later on in the future, as things really start to drastically change here, and we're going to need people from our age group or whatever age group you're in, we're going to need certain people with certain placements to pour into their strengths and pour into their abilities in a way that is free of any baggage, free of any karma, free of any of that energy, so that we can really do what it is we are meant to. I'm going to check my time one more time. Okay. And I know this is like, I don't necessarily know how this video is supposed to flow, or like what the title, like, I don't necessarily know what I am trying to convey until I start kind of conveying it. But I just want any Capricorn or Aquarius out there to know that you are not alone. It is confusing, it is draining, it feels, or for me at least, it feels that way, but I also still really believe in what it is that I'm doing for myself. I still believe in all the changes that I've made and the sacrifices that I've made, that it's for my highest good. I still believe that. And a lot of you probably have some Pisces in your second house, which is that house of blessings, of the physical, material blessings. You may have experienced a lot of hardships, financially, a lot of hardships because of the things you've had to sacrifice. It's just caused that strain. Once Jupiter, which Jupiter will be entering into Pisces just for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months in May of next year, there will be an opportunity to see some blessings pour in from staying strong, from continuing to press forward with whatever it is you have believed underneath all the stuff that's been going on. That one thing that you're like, this is why I'm still doing it. This is why I'm still going. Despite all this other stuff that's happening, this is still why I'm pushing through this and not giving up and not turning back to my old ways, to my old patterns. You will be rewarded for that by Jupiter next year for like two months and some change, and then it's going to go back into Aquarius, and then it'll go back into Pisces in 2022. And I really believe that if we have the ability, which most Capricorns and Aquariuses do, to keep pressing forward, to keep staying focused, to breathe through the changes, to acknowledge them, to respect them, to honor them, that we will recognize that all the crappy stuff that's been happening, as fun as it isn't, is still really beautiful and still really very necessary. I didn't even realize how much still. I mean, I even just like opened my eyes again last night to another level, to another layer, and I'm just wondering how many times I'm going to be like aha momenting about myself and about who I am, and entering, like, shifting in and out of like two different kinds of realities, where one where I'm like hoping and wishing that things are going to work out, and one where I'm entering into no, I know they are, because all I can do is continue to believe that and continue to work towards that. And as long as I'm pouring my ability to believe in that and to work towards that, then it is going to come together. And I have to have faith in that. And I have to have faith in the process and what's happening, and know that it's for a reason. And it is for a reason. So if you're feeling really discouraged, if you're feeling really confused, or feeling really alone, or feeling really tired, I really recommend spending that time thinking back on all the stuff that you have been through, and how you're still here, how you're still going, how you're still growing, how it's okay to change, it's okay to shift. It is for a reason. Watch videos about having Saturn in the first house, Jupiter there. So my camera died after, hold on. Are you zoomed in or out? So my camera died after I just filmed the last segment, and so then I went back to see what I said, and then thought I was refilming it, and it still wasn't filming it. If that is an example of what Saturn is doing to you in your first house, it's literally like that. It's like, imagine if you had, like, you were recording yourself for something, explaining something, and then you have to go back and say it again. You have to go back and say it again. You have to go back. Every time you go back to say it, it's not going to be the same as it was the first time. And that's exactly what Saturn is doing. It's having us kind of see things again, repeat them, see things, clear them out, see things, clear them out, and crystallize us down to our true form. And that may feel fake, it may feel weird, it may feel inauthentic to have to repeat something, but it's for our ability to be like, oh, that was superfluous, that was unnecessary, that wasn't me, or at least for me personally, that's what it's been. And I don't even remember what I was saying now in the second, or like this time that I'm talking, I don't know what I want to reiterate from the very first time I was saying what I was saying before the video ended. But I will kind of keep it short because I went long the second time around anyway, and just say the things that are happening in our first house are for a reason. It is for the greater good of not just us, but for humanity, for the collective, for the connections we'll be forming in our futures, for the types of roles and leadership positions we'll most likely be called to or feel compelled to step into, especially as we enter into a new age and a new time. And I don't mean the age and time where people are super spiritual and everyone has crystals and everyone does yoga and everyone meditates. I just mean a world in which we're all aware that there is more to life than just our personal self, our ego, our wants, our desires. There is more to life than that, and we recognize that the goal is for a larger common good. The goal is for the health of our planet. The goal is for the health of everyone. The goal is for a nice, I don't even like the word nice, a healthy, positive, higher vibrational type of lifestyle, no matter what lifestyle that is. It doesn't mean you have to have crystals and yoga. It doesn't mean that we're all just sitting in oneness and bliss all the time. It means that we recognize that yes, we all are changing and growing as people, and we can all honor each other's paths and still do our own thing. We don't have to negate someone else's path just because it is not ours. I really feel that that's something Aquarius and Capricorn energy is going to be called into helping solidify. A lot of us, I feel, these changes are going to be preparing us for that. And I know it's been hard for me, at least, to continue to see that because it's going to be in my first house for so long. I don't even know how much advice I can really give because I still have to go through apparently a lot of changes. But now that it's out of Capricorn in Aquarius, I feel like it's more about training us now into an energy to lean into, because Aquarius is that person. Aquarius is that energy that's going to change things, that's going to shift the reality, that's going to shift how we treat each other and how we view our reality, what we think is and is not possible. And so I feel like this time that's coming around, literally every moment we breathe and every new instance, every new day, every new event that happens on Earth, each event is just going to continue to accelerate us into a time where the things that weren't normal are going to become normal. The things that people didn't used to really think about, they're going to think about. More people are going to be looking at the sky. More people are going to be talking about planets. It's going to become more normalized because it is important and healthy for us as a species of humans to continue to elevate and grow, to continue to become better versions, to not repeat the cycles that our parents have repeated, or think that we need to repeat what our parents have done because that's just the way it's been done. It's our time to really be able to stand out outside of that in our own mind and create our own identities and our own realities and the own paths that we want to live and that we want to walk, and believe in them and really know that it's possible and not care what people think or say. And Aquarian energy is that, so I feel like we're being pushed towards believing that, towards encouraging that kind of rebelliousness that isn't for the sake of rebellion but for the betterment of everyone, for the betterment of people having the ability to really feel like they can live a life that they enjoy, so they don't have to work Monday to Friday 9 to 5 every day and then feel drained and feel sad and depressed and confused and lonely about why life feels like this when they never thought that it was going to feel like that when they were a kid, when they thought so many things were possible and now they don't really feel possible anymore. I want people to be able to see that you don't have to be stuck in that to get out of the loop, to get out of the programming, to get out of the cycle. And I feel like us as Capricorn Aquarius Risings going through what we're going through now, we're going to be the ones to help other people see that. We're going to be the ones to shed a light to other people. Hey, you can live whatever life you want to live. I know it may not be normal in your family. It may not be normal around your friends. You may have to lose some people. You may have to gain new things, new talents, new skills, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be for your betterment. It's going to make you happy. So as long as you're going towards your happiness, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It may feel weird. It may feel awkward. You may feel exposed. You may feel vulnerable. But that's because you're really living the way you desire, and that can be scary, but it's also really beautiful, and it's what we're all meant to go towards. And that's something that I really want to encourage, and that's what I've been trying to encourage with everything that we've been doing here, and me personally for what we're sharing on the channel, is to show like, yes, we're doing stuff that we don't know how to do, that we're confused about, that makes us nervous, but we're still doing it because it's what we desire. It's what's going to lead to our happiness. It's something that we know will help others as well, and that's why I feel really inspired towards it, and that's why I know it's still worth it even though Saturn has been beating my ass up, is because Jupiter's there helping me too and continuing to keep me encouraged and keep me positive, and know that the things that I'm doing now and the things I'm going through now are going to help other people to realize that they can go towards what they want to go towards, and they don't have to be stuck in this machine that we've all been a part of, this matrix we've all been a part of, and step out and really live our lives and be individuals, all of us unique, and not like lean into the status quo, etc. and so on. I could go on for days. So I really want every Capricorn Aquarius who is watching this to feel encouraged, to keep going, to know you are doing this for a reason. Whatever you're going through for a reason. Whatever you still desire to do, whatever it is you're still keeping yourself motivated to go towards, is for a good purpose. It's for your life, it's for your calling, it's for your destiny, and we need that. We need people to really believe in themselves. We need more people to believe in their life and their dreams and their aspirations, and not let people bring them down, to not let people stomp on your dreams, to stand up for your dreams, stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you desire, and do it anyway, even if it's scary. Do it anyway, because it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be worth it. And I wanted us to be able to encourage each other and to be able to lift each other up. And this generation and before us and after us, I want everyone to start coming together and believing in one another and encouraging one another, because it's free and it's easy. It costs nothing to be kind. It costs nothing to help someone else if they're trying to do something for their life, for their happiness. It costs nothing to help someone by subscribing, to help someone by introducing them to someone they know will be good for them, to help someone go towards a field that you know they really feel desire towards, but they're afraid to do it. We can be those people for other people. We can push other people towards their purpose. Not even push, just show them the door, open their eyes. I feel that that's something a lot of Capricorn Aquarius Risings are going to do, and you may even do it unintentionally. You may not even recognize that you're doing it, but you will be a light for other people. You will be able to show people their true desires and show them that they can do it because you're doing it. And be the example. Definitely be the example. I'm trying to be the example too. So My sun is setting as I'm finishing this out, which I really like, so I just really want everyone to be happy. I just really want everyone to feel that when they wake up, that they know that they're going towards something that makes them happy, that they feel loved, that they feel understood, that they feel free, that they can feel joy, like they feel like they're just a stallion out in a field, just anything is possible, because it is. And we all deserve that. So I'm hoping to encourage people to do that. I hope that you choose to do that as well. Do not give up on your dreams. Encourage other people's dreams. Do what you can to support other people. It is free. It costs nothing, and it means a whole lot. Go subscribe. Go like. It costs nothing. Go leave a comment. Go show encouragement. It costs nothing. And it's really beautiful, and it really means a lot to people, more than you think it does. Okay, Capricorn, Aquarius Risings, or people with Saturn in the first house, or anyone else who just clicked on this. I will see you guys later. Thank you for listening to me. Thanks for sitting here as the sun was setting. I will see you guys next time in this crazy life. Okay. Peace and love.